Muy buenos días, amigos de Informa 24, y un saludo a todas las personas que vean este video. Pues amigos, el día de hoy nos encontramos a 14 de marzo del 2025. Pues arde la derecha con la siguiente información que les voy a comentar. Primeramente, tomaremos en cuenta que la última encuesta de El Financiero coloca a la presidenta Claudia Sheinbaum con un 85% de aprobación. Resulta que no solamente es un medio nacional, sino que hasta el New York Times le da este resultado. Valida la encuesta nacional que se hace en nuestro país. Y vemos la manera en que en los noticieros se habla acerca de todo esto.
Mientras tanto, un artículo del diario estadounidense The New York Times reconoce que actualmente la figura política más popular del mundo es la presidenta Claudia Sheinbaum. El artículo publicado en la edición semanal de este periódico recuerda que Sheinbaum arrasó en las elecciones presidenciales del año pasado y desde entonces su popularidad sigue en aumento. Este respaldo se incrementó en las últimas semanas a pesar de las amenazas de Donald Trump para aplicar aranceles al comercio internacional. The New York Times consigna que Sheinbaum alcanza un apoyo del 85%, una cifra 4 veces mayor a la de quienes están en desacuerdo con el desempeño presidencial. El mayor impulso se debe a la forma como Sheinbaum ha logrado sortear las amenazas del presidente Donald Trump.
Bueno, y muchos dirán, se trata del canal 11 Noticias, un medio, pues obviamente patrocinado por recursos públicos, pero ¿qué creen? Resulta que también en Alemania reconocen a la doctora Claudia Sheinbaum por la manera en la que ella ha tratado pues todo lo relacionado con las amenazas de Donald Trump. El medio es DW, cual es muy conocido este medio de noticias a nivel internacional. Y vamos a escuchar qué fue lo que señalaron en la edición del día de ayer.
Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum, the most powerful woman in the world. Well, that's what many are wondering after she faced off with U.S. President Trump over his plan to put tariffs on Mexican goods. Trump has backed down, for now at least. On Sunday, more than 100,000 of Sheinbaum's supporters rallied in Mexico City to celebrate the country being exempted from tariffs on goods covered by an existing trade agreement. And Trump said he made the decision out of respect for Sheinbaum. Many have put it down to Sheinbaum's negotiating skills. Well, for more, I'm joined now by Karen Cizis. She's the editor-in-chief of the Americas Society and Council of the Americas website, where she focuses primarily on Mexico. Karen, it's good to have you with us. One recent poll, I understand, found that Claudia Sheinbaum enjoys an 85% approval rating. 85, that's 85. I mean, that is a number almost unheard of in democracies today.
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me on. You're right, that is an extraordinary number, and I think it's fair to say it makes her the most popular woman president in the world. And for many reasons, she was already popular. She's been in office since October 1st. She came into office with riding a wave of popularity, but we've seen that approval level just go up in the months since then. And I definitely would say that her handling of the relationship with the United States has most likely only boosted that approval level. She's been seen as having a sort of calm, steady hand in these negotiations.
Yeah, and after winning exemptions from Trump's tariffs, an opinion piece published by Bloomberg called Sheinbaum the most powerful woman in the world. Let me ask you, is that what she is? And do you know what her secret is in dealing with the self-proclaimed deal master himself, Donald Trump?
I think it's an interesting title, and she certainly is. I mean, we have to consider that Mexico is the United States' largest trade partner. So her ability to negotiate with them certainly puts her in a strong position. So I think it's a very interesting title indeed in that regard. A big thing that we've seen in comparison to, for example, Canada, is that Claudia Sheinbaum, out of the gate, when there have been tariff threats, she hasn't responded immediately. She said, we're measuring our conversations, we're seeing how things go before she has announced retaliatory measures. She has at times sort of hinted, oh, well, we're going to have a phone call with President Trump. We're having these conversations. And rather than just going ahead and taking these reciprocal measures, which would potentially result in blowback for her country, she's taken this cool, steady approach. And at the same time, in Mexico, very much focused on sovereignty, declaring that no external force would push Mexico's hand. So she's been able to, at the same time, appease and respond to U.S. requests and needs, and at the same time speak to her base in Mexico. We've seen certain measures that have been taken around security, an increase in fentanyl seizures, the deportation of 29 organized crime members to the United States, and some conversations between the two countries, moving the conversation forward.
We know that Donald Trump is notoriously difficult to predict. He likes to change his mind. How confident is Mexico that Trump will stand by his word to exempt goods covered by previous existing trade agreements also, by the way, that he helped negotiate?
I do think that there's a challenge here in the sense that we've seen tariffs on, tariffs off again. And that uncertainty, even if the tariffs get pulled back, as we've seen them delayed till April 2nd, creates this type of uncertainty in the business climate. We've seen a response in the markets. We've seen concerns from the private sector over these moves. That creates a challenge for Mexico. Now, we also know that about half of Mexico's exports to the United States fall under the USMCA, that trade agreement that you alluded to. The Economy Secretariat in Mexico has talked about moving more goods, and it's basically a sort of a bureaucratic process to get additional goods under the USMCA in terms of exports. What's going to happen April 2nd? We're still going to have to see. Again, that uncertainty creates this difficult environment for investors, for the business sector.
Karen, before we run out of time, one other issue to ask you about, and that is migration and Trump's demand that Mexico tackle its longstanding drugs crime. We know that president after president has struggled to rein in the drug cartels. Will Sheinbaum, will she be different?
I think that we have to understand that the organized crime groups in Mexico don't just work in the area of drugs. They are involved in human trafficking. They're involved in all kinds of illicit activities. And this is something that's been a long time issue that several governments have tried to control organized crime in Mexico. So can we expect that something is going to change overnight and that her government is going to wave some magic wand and control all this? That is a big challenge, given how the extent to which there are these organized crime groups active in Mexico. However, we are seeing some positive signs, a turn towards greater dependence on intelligence and use of intelligence in terms of battling organized crime. And in the last government, with her predecessor, we saw some rough patches in terms of U.S.-Mexico cooperation around intelligence. And we're seeing a move towards greater collaboration in this area. So that would be an area where we can look, hopefully, for some positive steps forward.
Okay, Mexico analyst Karen Tsitsis, we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. It's great hearing your insights, too, into this. It's a fascinating story. We'll see if Sheinbaum...
Bueno, pues ahí está. Vea nada más lo que los medios internacionales hablan en torno a la doctora Claudia Sheinbaum, nuestra presidenta. Y en cambio en México, ¿qué es lo que tenemos? Puras críticas por parte de la oposición. La verdad es que son unos miserables y vea nada más cómo los medios de comunicación pues alaban la gestión de México ante las amenazas de Donald Trump. Pues amigos, esa es la información que yo tengo por el momento. Espero que les haya gustado y si les gustó, por favor, denle like a este video. Nos vemos en uno siguiente. Suscríbanse al canal Informa 24. Saludos, bye bye.